Hey team, welcome back to another episode of Coffee Cleans and Calorie Deficits. If you are listening to this, thank you very much. It's just me on the screen today. If you're watching this, you can obviously see it's just me, as opposed to some of our other videos. And today we're going to be talking about mental wellness. How does it affect your training, your nutrition, and your results? And how can you improve it through things that you can control? Now we're doing fitness in 5 minutes, so we can't cover everything, but I'm going to cover two things that I think are incredibly important, and that is a good night's rest and communication with others. You're probably thinking, you wasn't expecting that, Jordan, but it's really important. So without further ado, your mental wellness obviously affects your ability to make decisions based on objective facts as opposed to subjective feelings and emotions. Your mental wellness is something like a battery. We know that certain people have more willpower than others, or more focus, whatever you want to call it, and it's not something we think we can develop, it's more genetic, so we have to try and do our best to create the conditions in which we can use the most of it. It's kind of like Naruto's an anime, right? And people are born with chakra, and some people have millions of chakra but they can't use it very well, and some people have less chakra but they're very controlled with it, and that's what you need to do with your mental energy, if you like it. Right. The worse you feel mentally, the less energy you have in general, for yourself, for people, for work, for day to day. And this isn't just my experience, this is kind of what we know from research. Now, what affects your mental health? We know it's beyond genetic factors, and we aren't 100% sure on why it happens, but we do know that sleep affects it, and it can be negative or positive. So, what do we do about our sleep? Well, we need to focus on two things: sleep quality, sleep quantity. Sleep quality is how deeply you sleep, and that means that your body is in a state of rest. And how do we achieve that? Well, there's a couple ways of doing it. Firstly, we have to make sure that we have a wind down routine. You should not just be jumping into bed at 12 p.m. and then waking up at 7, because you're not sleeping for 7 hours, you're in bed for 7 hours. Sleeping implies the hours that you're actually sleeping deeply, not those that you're lying in bed flicking through Instagram or Tinder. So, around an hour before bed, you want to start winding down, and I advise people to do that in 3 ways. One, either avoid TV screens, laptop screens, or phone screens, or use blue light blocking glasses, or use the night mode on their phone. Now, you need to do this because there's a hormone called melatonin, and it helps you sleep. Now, this hormone is gradually released throughout the day and spikes around midday, which is why you get that little midday slump, and then at night when your circadian rhythm, which is another thing entirely, tells your body it's time for us to rest. So, you need to make sure that you're basically chilling the fuck out an hour before bed. Avoid anything incredibly stimulating, like TV or other things. We want to avoid intense emotions. Cut out caffeine stimulants around 6 hours before bed. That's a minimum. I think caffeine can have a bigger half-life than that, depending on the dose. But I can't remember right now. I just know it's a minimum of 6. Keep the room cool. If you can open your windows, keep your room cool, drop the temperature in the room, jump in for a shower about 30 minutes before bed. A hot shower into a cold room drops your body temp and lets you relax into sleep. Now, we're into the last minute, so we need to watch ourselves here. We're moving on to our last point, and this is the important one, and I'm going to tell you why from some personal experience. Communications with friends, family, and strangers. You need to try and be as honest as you can with yourself and with others. And that's not, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a bad person. It's, this is my current behaviour. It either does or does not line up with my actions and values and what you value in life, and we'll go over that in another podcast. But you have to be pursuing your truth, and it's things that make you happy or make you feel fulfilled emotionally, physically, and mentally. You have to tell people what you want. I had an ex that I wasn't able to articulate my wants and needs. It was regarding sex. I'm a bit of a freak, and I couldn't because I felt very embarrassed. And then it led to poor communication and it hurt a relationship. And there's 5 seconds to go, but I don't want to rush this, so we'll say 6 minutes. Because I couldn't articulate confidently what I wanted to them, it created frustration, mistrust, and anger that was misplaced because we couldn't communicate properly. So you need to tell your friends and your family and your partners and your doctors and your therapists what you want. And I say this for men and women because I experienced this, but obviously I mostly coach females, and I find this a lot, that there is a difficulty in a woman being able to say what she wants without either being, ridiculed, derided, etc. You need to own your fucking mental health, folks. And that's the most important thing, because you can't be anything for anyone else if you're not you for you first and foremost. And we're going to sign off on that. Folks, if you have any questions, you can follow up on this through Instagram, social medias, everything's in the link below. Take care.